What the f?
So here is my auction buy of this past weekend. I actually wasn't able to make it to the auction, so I took a gamble on this one, but it looked real good in the pictures, and I have some friends over at the auction, obviously, so I paid one of them a little bit extra to check out this vehicle for me and bid on it for me. So the winning bid was $375. Out the door, when I paid the auction, was $525, and I paid him a little bit more for doing that for me, and it worked out fantastic. This is a 1993 Sedan DeVille with the 4.9 liter. I know you guys know I love that engine. That and the 4.5, they're pretty much the same lady, different dress. Both a great, reliable Cadillac engine. You can see this car is in really, really nice condition. Unfortunately, the kids that work over at the auction, they always wash the cars in the warm weather months before they take the pictures, and you can tell they hazed up the paint a little bit. That will come out no problem with a good polish, but still, this paint is in beautiful condition. And you can see it has a beautiful metallic sparkle. Now the hood's just got dirt on it. I haven't washed this or anything. I went to the auction today, picked it up. This is during the week now. I won this car over the weekend. Picked it up, drove it over here. This is exactly as it was when I got there. The writing's still on the windows. There's still a little bit of trash in the interior. Nothing disgusting. The car is very clean. It has no odors. Just typical things that people leave in their daily drivers, like soda cans, water bottles. It's a scratch-off ticket in there. But the car is in great shape. I believe it was an elderly person that owned it prior, based off my Carfax search and some of the things I found inside the vehicle. A lot of cassette tapes and the registration history, and even the person's name, the previous owner's name, is a dead giveaway. It's somebody of an older generation. One of those nice, classy, long names you never see anymore, unless you're at a nursing home. So I'm assuming they stopped driving, and that was the reason this was donated. It's been parked since, I assume, December of 2018, because the sticker expired in January. There's no hints in the Carfax that was being driven after that, but the miles are actual. Did I even say what the mileage is yet? I don't think I said what the mileage is yet in this car. 64,000 actual miles, 64,210, something like that. Again, the Carfax verifies that, condition verifies that. They painted over the door handles, or somebody at some point did something with these door handles. They painted them. That's an easy fix. Again, if you look at the actual paintwork, it's beautiful. The Landau top is in very good condition overall. There's a few of these trim bits like this that have to be re-sewn back on, but there's no major tears or issues with the Landau top. Matter of fact, there's no tears at all. It's just that issue in certain areas that's very easy to re-sew back on. But again, the key thing is no tears, no discoloration. This was an American Sunroof Company Landau top car. It's got the ASC sticker on the door. For those of you who don't know what that means, ASC was one of the big companies doing all the Landau tops on these cars after they were built, and they are one of the better companies that did them, and they hold up well, and this car is evidence of that. There's also a couple grandma, grandpa bumps on the car. That's what I like to call them. These older folks pulling out of the supermarket or the post office, they bump into things. One of the things I love about the cars I buy like this is they cost me very little money. They bring me a lot of enjoyment, and because they're never perfect, although they're pretty close to perfect for what they are, but because they're never perfect, I can drive them guilt-free, and of course I'm still very careful with them. I'll still park them far away to avoid door dings, and you guys see the way I shelter these vehicles, storing them in massive buildings that cost me tons of money. But again, I can take this thing out for a drive and not worry about every little thing because it's got grandma bumps on just about every corner. You don't really notice them unless I point them out, but again, little scrape up here, a little paint chipping off. That's just some cobwebs. And again, there's a lot of dirt on the car from it being at the auction for however long it was there. But overall, very, very clean. Again, I didn't even have to stop to wash this. I just wanted to make sure it actually make it here. I drove it almost an hour with no issue. It's got a slight hesitation sometimes, like a baby misfire. It hasn't thrown the check engine light yet. It could even just have bad fuel or a dirty fuel filter. It's been sitting now for over a year. And by the way, what a beautiful view, huh? I love filming my cars over here. Also, it's got 4 brand new tires all around. White walls, of course, thank God. They're Milestar tires, so they're nothing to call home about, but they're not bad tires. And very straight, clean body. The undercarriage is very, very clean. The brake lines have the slightest bit of surface rust, which tells you it's been a New England vehicle, but they're by no means rusted out whatsoever. So you can see very basic surface rust, typical of a vehicle that's 26, 27 years old, but no rot whatsoever, no major rust anywhere. This is much cleaner than even my 93 Seville that I just fixed up. And that car is pretty clean underneath, but this one's real clean. So someone took care of this car. There's no question about it. Even look at the condition of the alloy wheels. They're basically brand new. No curbing, no pitting, nothing. Now this is a typical issue with all DeVille, Sevilles, and whatnot as they get older. The trunk pull downs malfunction. That's why it's open just a little bit. But the car wasn't hit in the back or anything like that. You can see nice and straight. A little bit of paint flaking back here, typical on these rubber areas around the taillights. But no damage to this rear panel. So really there's only a few spots where there's some grandma bumps. But otherwise this thing is in really nice shape. The interior is in even better condition than the exterior, and the exterior is in great shape. So don't judge the mess in here. This is exactly how I got it at the auction. I bet you most of that stuff was not in here before it came to auction. Look at the condition of the bench seat. Absolutely immaculate. These seats look like they have 10,000 miles on them. In perfect condition. Look at the armrest. Look at the door panel. The steering wheel. Zero wear whatsoever. The dashboard, no peeling areas, no cracking, nothing. This car is in beautiful condition. Wait until I give these carpets a vacuum. You still have the Cadillac mats in here. And one thing I absolutely love about this car is it still has its factory keyless entry, the Cadillac keyless entry, and it's factory gold Cadillac keys, just like my Alante does. And it has some extra keys, which is great. Look at these door panels. Everything's like brand new. No stains, no odors, no nonsense. The back seat, I don't think anybody's ever sat back here before. It's in beautiful shape. The headliner is in absolutely perfect condition. No tears. No sagging, even at the back. It's perfect. I was really shocked when I got there and saw this car, just how nice it was. Pictures didn't do it justice whatsoever. And you look here in the dogleg area, for example, spotless. The rockers, spotless. No rust to be found anywhere on this presumably always New England vehicle. The Carfax doesn't go back that far, it goes back to about 2005. At least from 05 on, it was always in Massachusetts. Maybe it was somebody's toy, that's why the mileage is so low. Or maybe grandma just didn't take it out during the winter. But this thing is a real cream puff, especially for costing me under 600 bucks. This is my first time opening the trunk. I'm very happy to see that it still has this factory Cadillac mat. My Alante has the same one in it. It's a very unique material. Trunk is clean. Let's see if we still have a spare tire. Well, it's got the cover on it, but I do see the spare. It's funny how it has like a Delta 88 on the instructions here instead of a Cadillac, but at the end of the day, they're all closely related vehicles. Of course, what else would you expect to see on an old lady's Cadillac? The AAA sticker. There's always one somewhere. This is a unique placement for one. Typically they put it on the back bumper. I know they give you this sticker. They give you a few stickers when you get AAA, but I'll leave it there. It's appropriate in a vehicle like this. So let's start her up, and this is where there's a few minor issues. Again, I mentioned before, there's a very slight misfire that comes on occasionally, but very, very slight. I got on this thing just a few minutes before starting the video, put my foot to the floor, and spun the tires, took off, nice and smooth acceleration, smooth through the gears. As you would expect a car with 64,000 miles to be. Fires right up. So the first issue is that the fuel data center and the electronic climate control are not lighting up. The climate control is working. I put it on earlier, the AC kicked on, I was able to adjust the fan speed and presumably the temperature, being that it kicked on the AC when I pushed down colder, colder, colder. So we got an issue there. Can't be a bad fuse because this is still working. I've never ran into this issue before, and I've owned a lot of these old Cadillacs, but whatever it is, I'll figure it out. Not a huge deal. I know my way around these cars real well. That's a change oil light. It's just a reminder light like any vehicle. It comes on and off. The service SSS light is for the suspension. These cars had, I forget what the SSS stands for exactly, but it's some type of sensitive suspension. I'm sure at some point the rear shocks were changed out, and that's the reason why the computer is confused. Not concerned about that at all. The car drives fantastic. The brakes are great, stops on a dime. Steering is nice and tight, no clunking. The struts don't clunk. You can hear the exhaust has a nice little crackle to it. So if you haven't heard it already, and maybe you haven't because I don't have my mic, there was a whirring sound coming from one of the accessory pulleys. I'm thinking maybe the water pump, but this is where I could use your help in figuring that out. I don't think it's the alternator because it's been charging the battery no problem. I had it running for a good while, again driving it almost an hour here, and never had an issue with it crapping out. Now granted, the alternator could still be noisy and failing, but still charging the battery enough, but I don't think it's the alternator. I don't think it's the power steering because when I turn the wheel back and forth, there's no change in the sound, and also the fluid is full. One thing's for sure, the noise is definitely coming from one of the accessory pulleys over here. I'm thinking maybe it's the water pump. I don't think it's the AC because when I turn the AC on or off, there's no change in the sound. You can see I haven't cleaned the engine bay at all. There's leaves, there's dirt, but overall, very smooth running 4.9. Antifreeze was full and clean. Oil was topped off and clean. Even the overflow tank is full. This car had very good service history up until it was parked. It was being regularly maintained. They changed out a few things on the engine, some sensors. So it was good to see it. Somebody was caring for this car as much as they were before it was parked. Also, transmission fluid looks brand new, smells no burnt smell, and the transmission shifts wonderful. So listen to this. If I rev up the engine, you hear it, the whirring noise goes with the idle. So let me know what you think. I don't think the water pump's leaking because, well, let's take a look. I don't see a leak. So let me know in the comments what you think. I want to take care of that soon. So I will be shipping this down to Florida. Let me know what you think about that noise and whatever the other question was I asked. Oh, about the fuel info center and the climate control, why those two aren't working. Again, I've done no investigating whatsoever. Picked up the car today, drove it here, and wanted to get the video done before I lost daylight. So thanks for watching, guys, and keep an eye out for the next one.